Right here behind me, we have a bean field here in Western Nebraska. So the main beans that are grown in Western Nebraska would be pintos, Great Northerns, light red kidneys, black beans, along with some other miscellaneous crops. We are looking to bring in additional varieties. As a region, we've seen additional black eye acres, some pink bean acres, small reds. Through the years, we've done other classes as well. But your main beans grown in this area are going to be pintos and northerns.
I just wanted to show you some nodules on the root. It's these little circular things on the root hairs. So those are nodules, and it's a symbiotic relationship between bacteria and the plant. And these nodules produce nitrogen. Sometimes you'll have these nodules on the root and they're not doing anything. So if you squeeze them and you get it red, that means they are producing nitrogen for the plant. If they're white, then they're not doing anything. So in the next 6 weeks, these fields will start to get natural senescence and start to dry down and turn yellow, and then the growers will come in. Once it dries down enough, they'll come in and they'll lay it into a windrow and leave it there for 4 or 5 days, let it cure out, and then they'll come in and thrash it and bring it into the elevator. You know, we've dealt with some of these same grower families for 3 or 4 generations, and it's really a partnership because the quality that comes in has a lot to do with Mother Nature. So some years everything's going to be perfect, and some years they're not. So it really takes a partnership so that the grower and the processor work together. We take care of the issues, and you know, we do what we can for each other.
So I think the relationship between processors and growers is very important. You know, we work together to get the seed and bring it, and then also we work together to get the crop marketed. We work with all of the different segments in the market. And so as an industry, we do work with the canners, we work with wholesale, we work with food service, we work with retail, and we do export as well. And then, you know, there's other avenues as well through the government feeding programs and things of that nature. So I think the biggest thing is the amount of opportunities and marketplaces that we can bring for the growers during harvest. You know, we had quite a bit of hail in the region, so some fields are struggling, they're a little bit behind. 10% of the crop was replanted. But they have made headway and they've come back, so we've seen some progress there.
We've had some weed species that have moved into the area that we've really lost a lot of bean acres because this weed is so hard to control. So that's been a major point from Nevin Lawrence up at the university. He's done a lot of work, and we feel that we can control it now. Well, there's the university breeders that develop a lot of the genetics that have the resistance genes. And then those universities also, not only do they breed their own varieties, but they also share germplasm with private breeders so that we can get those traits into a broad variety of different beans. We just couldn't have done that without the university's support. The Bean Commission is kind of the in-between between the industry and the university. And the Bean Commission financially supports the university for the different studies they do.
Benefits of working with the Nebraska Dry Bean Commission is a unified voice between, you know, dealers, growers, advocating for beans. We're a niche specialty crop, so I think it's important that we have our voice heard and that we advocate for bean and to continue to grow our niche industry.
Well, just that the dry bean industry is here. I think a lot of Nebraskans, you know, when you say beans, they just assume soybeans. But the dry bean industry, along with the sugar beet industry in Western Nebraska, is largely unknown to most people in Nebraska.
So one of my favorite stories about the history of dry edible beans in the North Platte Valley was back in 1925. The industry here prior to dry edible beans, the other cash crop was potatoes. So one of our pioneers of the bean industry for this specific area his name was Chester B. Brown. Chester B. Brown came to the area. He lived here. They immigrated here as a child. He did head towards South Dakota, spent some time in Deadwood. He came back after getting bucked off a horse, and he was slowing down, and he was looking for an alternative cash crop here for his neighbors. And so north of Morrill, he had talked his neighbors into trying dryable beans. He was on his way to Idaho to get some potato seed, and he ended up bringing back some bean seed and trying it, and that's kind of the start of dryable beans here in the North Platte Valley.
Well, I really like the fact that we're growing something that's actually eaten by, and it's very nutritious, and it's very important for the human race to have good quality food. This is really the only crop in our area that goes directly to people for human consumption, so I've always kind of liked that part of it.